Thanks to seed money from the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention and a partnership with Cecil County Public Schools, the Cecil County Sheriff's Office is launching the first ever pilot of the Cecil County Police Athletics League. Here to tell us all about it is Sergeant Michael Kalinsky. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit about the Police Athletics League, or PAL, and what this program will look like in Cecil County.
So the Cecil County Police Athletics / Activity League, we started about a month ago, and right now we have about 24 kids. It's headquartered at Gilpin Manor Elementary School in Elkton. So as you mentioned, we started the PAL through a grant from the Governor's Office of Crime Control and Prevention, and the grant was really specific about working with National PAL to get the program started and to target, for the most part initially, at-risk youth. So through the work that I do with Alice and active shooter stuff with Cecil County Public Schools, we approached Cecil County Public Schools and asked them if they would work with us to help get PAL off the ground. So the initial program, as I mentioned, is at Gilpin Manor. We meet on Tuesdays, and we meet for about 2 hours, and it's a mix between athletics and mentoring and coaching. So it's a good mix. We follow a national curriculum, and we're part of something called DMV PAL, which is a grouping of PALs from the DC, Maryland area.
Why do you think this is important for Cecil County?
I think it's important for kids in general, and most importantly for Cecil County kids, because there's not a lot of positive role models, especially for at-risk youth right now. So it's an after-school program. It's one of the reasons why we wanted to work directly with Cecil County Public Schools, is to create a program that brings children into contact with law enforcement in a positive setting. So while we're following a national curriculum, we're also trying to show the kids that police officers are human and just like them, and just as competitive when we do kickball or some of the other athletic activities, but also that we're teaching them life skills while they're there. So we try and make it a good mix in the 2 hours that we have with them. It's been a learning experience for the deputies as well as the kids.
And it starts tomorrow?
Tomorrow will be our third meeting with the kids. Our second official meeting. We did a soft start and had about 20 kids, only 10 of which had filled out their applications at that point. But then once word got around that we had started, a lot of other kids had shown interest. So that's also one of the reasons why we're working with the public schools, is try and find kids that having that positive role model, having a police officer. Right now it's just sheriff's deputies, but having that police officer there to talk to and get to know a little bit better, so that hopefully down the road that we're there as a positive role model and not as someone that they're interacting with on a negative basis.
So how can kids get involved?
So right now we're targeted just to stay in the Elkton area, at least for the next few months as we learn our way through it. As I said, we're following a national curriculum, so we have certain objectives and goals that we have to reach as far as PAL is concerned. So right now we'll stay at Gilpin Manor, and as we get more deputies involved and get more experience, we'll start to expand out and probably move towards the northeast or the western part of the county with our next chapter, and then look to be someplace in southern Cecil County. It's a year-long grant, and the sheriff is very committed to it. So whether the grant's there next year or not, we'll still be doing this, and it'll just depend on the interest of kids at different schools.
Okay, so switching gears just a little bit, I wanted to ask you a few questions about active shooter situations, totally switching gears. The FBI reports that overall crime is down, violent crime is down in the United States, but there have been more active shooter situations. What do you think what would you recommend to a person to learn more about these situations and how to become prepared for them?
I think the most important thing is being situationally aware. There's a statistic that we talk about when we teach Alice, which is the options-based program that the Cecil County Sheriff's Office has endorsed and teaches. We've taught over 4,000 people in Cecil County about active shooters through Alice. And what we talk about is being aware of your surroundings and taking a look at how would you get out of a particular place if you couldn't get out the way you got in. So one of the things that we talk about as far as statistics are concerned in the class is that there hasn't been a death in a school by fire since 1958 in the United States. But by act of violence, the last time a child died in a school, based on today's date, was about 3 weeks ago.
Right.
So what we're trying to do is break people out of the mindset that it can't ever happen here, it won't ever happen here, and have them start to think about the worst day possible so that you're prepared for it.
So if someone is at school or at church or any other crowded place or a grocery store, what signs or anomalies should they look for?
I think what's most important is just being aware of your surroundings. We like to equate it to female joggers, not having two earbuds in so that you're aware of your surroundings. It can hear what can occur around you. So when we're at the supermarket or when we're at the mall or the airport or any number of public places, is just to be aware of the people that are around you and just take into account that you may not be able to get out the way that you got in. And also just be aware that you can defend yourself. One of the things that we stress in Alice class, and I say this countless times to thousands of people across the county, is movement is life. Mm-hmm. We don't want people cowering under desks or hiding under a cardboard table or whatever it is. We want them to take advantage of the few seconds that they might have to move out of the way, to get away from the threat.
If someone hears gunshots and screams, what is the first thing that they should do?
Try and figure out where it is and move. Get away from the threat. There's nothing wrong with getting away from a threat. I'm a police officer. I'm trained to run towards the threat. Mm-hmm. One of the things that we do when we teach Alice is we force people into a scenario where a bad guy comes into a room with an airsoft gun with the intent on shooting them. And we force people to see how they would react when we just say to them, shelter in place. But what we're trying to do is say to them, you have a chance. And any given opportunity, the only thing that an armed intruder ever has over anyone is the element of surprise. That's it. Once they've fired the gun, once they've started stabbing, whatever it is they've come to do, once they've done it, you know what their intentions are. Act. Get out of the room or fight back.
Okay, thank you. And I wanted, before you go, I know that it is No Shave November, and can you remind us what that's all about?
So for the month of November, every deputy that is willing to donate $40 can participate in Cecil No Shave and basically violate our grooming policy for a month and grow a beard or a mustache. So this year we did a little bit differently. We allowed deputies and the public to buy these really cool t-shirts.
Those are cool shirts.
For $28. They're still available. We still have a few left. We've sold over 400 at this point. We met our goal. Our goal this year was to raise $20,000 for Camp Open Arms, and we are right now right around $22,000 with a couple more days left. So if people are interested in supporting the kids that go to Camp Open Arms, they're kids born with limb disabilities or differences, as Dr. Abzug would like me to say, limb differences. So they can go to the Cecil County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and there's a link there to be able to make a tax-deductible donation and or buy these t-shirts. So thank you very much for asking.
Great. Sergeant Michael Kalinsky, thank you so much.
Thank you.